Well, this may have been the most productive week of the entire year. Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to me doing weekly navel-gazing for the last fucking time in 2024. Yes, that's right. We'll talk about all the books I read last week, all the books I plan to read next week, all the videos I made last week, and videos I plan to make next week, as always. And from there on out, we'll move into weird ramblings and shit, as, well, always happens. And, yeah, we'll see how all of that goes. And it turns out I did read a whole lot of books last week because, you know, Mousemas. And yes, this is the, first of two videos that will come out today as well. So yeah, and let's start with reading. I did read a lot of, Redwall books by Brian Jakes. That's just, what Mousemas meant. It meant I finished, book 1, Redwall, book 2, Mossflower, book 3, Matimeo, book 4, Marielle of Redwall, book 5, Salamandastron, and, book 6, which is Martin the Warrior. I also finished my reread of the Mistborn Era 1 trilogy. That means I finished rereading... the last one is The Hero of Ages, right? So that's the last book of that trilogy. I finished it. It's not good, but we already knew that. So that's my reading for last week, mostly. And I think that's pretty solid. So what am I planning to read next week, you may ask? Well, it turns out Mousemas ain't over, so... I have more books to read in that regard. Those being The Bellmaker, I think, is one, Outcast of Redwall is one, Pearls of Lutra is one, I'm running out of, I don't know all the titles at the moment. There are a lot of them. The Long Patrol is one, I know that. I know there's Marlfox, Lord Brocktree is, I think, one. The Legend of Luke is one. So more of those, like another 7... I think another 7 of these Redwall books will be read by me. There will be other books that I will be reading throughout that time, of course, and we'll see which ones those are. I will be finishing a reading of The 100 Years' War, a people's history by, I think it's Martin Green? I think Martin Green. It's non-fiction book about the 100 Years' War, and that's something I'll try to read today, because tonight I will be on a live stream on Amanda on the Strange Mentality Papers channel. I've shared it on the community tab. It's midnight my time. I hope if you have nothing better to do, you can join us there, and we'll be talking about historical fiction, among other things. So that's something that I will be reading today. Beyond that, I have no idea what else I'll be reading. There's, books and books and books, but what with the New Year's celebrations and whatever stuff, I suspect I'll be hard put to it to read much more than just the Redwall books. Maybe I'll just slip something in for fun that I've wanted to read for a long time, something relaxing that I don't feel the need to make any, content about. That's sort of like the goal for now. Reading something for fun. Not that, Redwall isn't fun, but that's sort of the plan for reading for this week. And we'll find out what happens next week, with the first navel-gazing on the, I assume that is the 6th of, that's January the 6th, on Epiphany. We'll have an Epiphany on Epiphany. How does that sound? So let's talk about videos and stuff, shall we? And I did some, right? I did make 5 of those Mousemas videos so far. That is, of course, one on... one on Redwall, one on Mossflower, one on Matimeo, one on Marielle of Redwall, and one on Salamandastron. That's 5 videos. I've rarely made that many videos in a week. I don't think any time in 2024, beyond, of course, Drizmas last year. And I think I'm better at it this time round. When it comes to keeping the daily schedule up, last year I did not manage to do that for all kinds of reasons, some of them being technical, some of them being, just the whole holiday season of traveling, visiting my family, then hanging out with friends for the New Year's party or whatever, right? That takes time away, so the goal is, of course, to record something in advance and just put it up in time, and we'll see if I manage to do it somewhat better this time around. We'll find out very soon. But so far, I've managed to have one up on every day, even though day sometimes means very, very late at night, because rendering those kind of videos can take some time, and that's, something that happens. So 5 videos out, pretty good. And of course, one live stream on Saturday. If you were there, thanks. I hope you had fun. I certainly did have fun. Unfortunately, I did not manage to find a guest for the last live stream of the year. We'll see what happens next year. I'm always willing to hang out with other booktubers if they feel like, joining me. So if you want to hang out with me, I don't know, message me. I'm really bad at messaging people, which is why I sometimes fail at asking cool people that may have said yes. So that's my problem, right? Anyway, so that's what I did last week. So let's talk about videos for this week. Well, yeah, Mousemas videos, right? Of course. Yes, there will be videos for the next couple of Mousemas videos. Today, in the evening, you'll get Martin the Warrior. Tomorrow, you'll probably get The Bellmaker, if that's book 7. And after that, I think it's Outcast of Redwall on what I guess will be New Year's Day. And then on the 2nd, I guess you'll get Pearls of Lutra. And after that, I'm completely lost which one will be which. So, yeah. Expect Mousemas videos every day, if I'm lucky, maybe with 1 day break around the 2nd of January if I fail at my goals. And that's basically it. I'll also try to record a, looking back at 2024 video, looking forward to 2025 video, like one of those end of year wrap-up videos. I usually do one of those. I did one of those last year and the year before, which is what I mean by I usually do them. It's not like I've been doing this for ages now, right? So that will happen if I find the time to, do that, record that and put it up tomorrow, in addition to, of course, the Mousemas video. So that's 2 videos for you, if you're lucky. Anyway, we'll see how all of that goes. So that's the plans for now with videos and anything else, including the Mormonism video, which I have worked on. Don't get me wrong. I did record parts and so forth until the whole Christmas thing happened. That will come out, I guess, 2nd week of January. So after Mousemas is over, we'll be back in the Sander trenches to do the thing. So that's going to happen very soon, I promise. I've gotten more convinced of like where I'm going. I have some level of confidence about those videos, the main Mormonism video, even though it'll be fucking huge, right? To be fair, I've checked and it's about. It's going to be long. Right now, the version that I have right now, and I might have to re-record some bits and pieces, is somewhere over 2.5 hours long already. And we haven't we've only just started at this point. But turns out, if you want to give like a full introduction to something as complex as, a full-fledged religion and its 200-year history, that takes time, right? And what I'm currently facing is the questions like, how deep do I have to go for this all to make sense? Do I have to explain Pelagianism and Arianism to you guys or not? That kind of stuff. It's like, because it's tempting to talk about it. I certainly enjoy talking about heresies and shit like that, but, reining it in, figuring out which are the important bits that everyone needs to have in there. Everyone wants to talk about polygamy. How much of that do I have to put in? That kind of stuff. Figuring out what is essential for the story that I plan to tell and what is essential because people expect it to be in there. Because it's the stuff they already know, you already know about Mormonism. That's sort of like the thing that I'm currently wrestling with. Editing, basically. If I would write a text, that would be something that an editor would tell me to cut or work around. But I don't have an editor, so here we go. It's going to be interesting. As I said, I'll keep working on it. It'll come out sometime in January. I have made my peace with the fact that it's not coming out in 2024. What you going to do about it? I'll talk more about that, I guess, in the end-of-year wrap-up kind of video that I plan to record. So that's something that'll happen. Beyond that, as I already said, join us tonight on the live stream on medieval, mostly medieval historical fiction and history and stuff on Amanda's channel, Strange Mentality Paper. It's going to be really cool. Some other booktubers will be there, and Epic Tales and Britain for sure, and some other people. It's going to be fun. I even bought fucking Monster energy drinks to make sure I'm still awake at like midnight, right? So yeah, we'll see. So that's the plans for now. The other thing that I did during the Christmas holidays is I finally actually managed to at least have one level of channel membership. So if you feel like, giving me money for nothing, which is what the level is called at the moment, you can do that now on YouTube, and you don't have to go to Patreon or anything of the sorts. The fun thing here is that I tried to do this on my browser, and for whatever reason I did always get some error message, and I couldn't actually do it. Error message meaning something went wrong, try again later, and no explanation what. Which is, part of the whole idea of like enshittification. We don't tell people actually what went wrong, we just tell them to try later, because who understands like the technicalities of a website anyway, right? So it didn't work on a browser. Could be something with my browser, could be something interacting with my browser and my screen reader. Who the fuck knows? So what happened is I was fucking around with the YouTube Studio app on my phone, which is also not very good, just to be clear. It sucks. There's a lot of stuff that the app doesn't do, and this is not the place where I talk a lot about enshittification. There's a really good article I read earlier this week, last week, by Ed Sidron on Where's Your Ad At? Never Forgive Them, which is really good if you want to talk about, want to have like a good understanding of why the internet is broken and who's to blame, and how part of that is, well, a large part of that is capitalism, of course, but how that kind of expresses itself in the way the internet gets less and less usable, and what kind of ramification that has for the average user, like most of us being here already somewhat, more like advanced users, right? I have studied computer science, but even you, most of you are probably already more technically advanced than a lot of average people that just buy a off-the-shelf computer with everything pre-installed and just like use the internet by clicking on buttons, and that's it. And since that experience is getting worse and worse and worse, that leads to frustration and anger and rage, which, may explain how certain politics have changed over the last year, or why people go and do dumb shit when it comes to voting and, stuff like that. It's a really good article. If you haven't read it yet, go and read it. I think it's really important. It's a long read. I'll just like actually link it down in the description. So check it out if you haven't. I think it's important, and it goes somewhat beyond Cory Doctorow's idea of enshittification into what he's called rot capitalism, and I think that's, there's some interesting stuff there, is what I'm saying. So, anyway, before I got on that side tangent, my point is that YouTube has like a YouTube app, which some of you are probably using on your phone, which is the viewer side app. But if you run your own channel, you can, of course, also do stuff with videos and so forth on that app. Then there's the YouTube Studio app on your phone, which does stuff and is made for creators if you want to, upload stuff. It shows you all the data and all the statistics that YouTube uses to force you to make more videos the way they want you to make videos. And then there's, of course, YouTube on the browser, on your web browser. And each of those things works differently. And what with me having to use screen readers and shit like that, it means there are things I can only do on the YouTube phone app. And then there's things I can only do on the YouTube Studio phone app. And then there's things I can only do on my browser. And it drives me fucking insane. And I've been talking about the fact that, I couldn't actually send, for whatever reason, I couldn't send comments and replies to comments on my browser. Turns out I can if I use a different browser. This one being Microsoft Edge, which like hurts me in my soul that I have to use that one if I want to comment on someone else's videos, or do it on my phone. And if you've ever tried to type on your phone while using a screen reader, you know why that is even more painful. Anyway, so what I found out is that I could, in fact, use the YouTube Studio app on my phone to actually successfully create those channel memberships that I spoke about in a video like ages ago, right? And that's what I did for one level. There's currently one level. It's like $2. I get $1. I get 70% of that, is what I'm saying. So if you want to do that, you get like a weird standard badge that shows up in chat and I guess in comments as well. I'll try to we'll try to get something worked out, or to have like custom badges that make look better. Technically, you can also figure out some custom emojis that you can use and emotes that you can use both in comments, I assume, and in live chats if I do live streams. But that's all that is in there. As I said before, there will be no content hidden from you if you can't afford it. It's just there. So if you feel like it, join it. Right now, I have one new channel member, and there will be, of course, the usual thing. Channel members will also get like a personalized cheers, just like patrons get at some point. once I have a video where I can use that. I don't want to do that during the Mousemas thing, because it's Mousemas, it's kind of its own thing, and I don't want to do that during like the weekly updates, because I feel they are, also their own thing. So it's going to be a dedicated video for each of you who decides to join the channel and become a channel member on YouTube the same way it works on Patreon. So that's out there. So I was really, really fucking busy last week in that regard, and I think it's partly me being me, right? I'm really, really bad at deadlines, no matter what, right? I make plans and then nothing happens, and I plan to start early and prepare early and get shit done in advance so I have time to, in case something goes wrong. And then I always fail at that, and that's partly ADHD, that's partly me being me, and probably partly me having studied in the humanities for ages, but all of these things kind of go together wonderfully, which means that all my plans of becoming more professional with the whole YouTube thing once again happened like the last week, the same way that me actually getting into recording the Mormonism video seriously started the last 2 weeks, right? So it's bad in that regard, but at least I did something, and maybe more professional elements will happen next week, next year. We will find out. Maybe I'll talk a bit more about that in the end of year wrap-up video, if I manage to record one today or tomorrow. We'll see. So that's kind of where I am at the moment. Mostly doing Mousemas things and really enjoying the Redwall books. I may have another good thing happening very soon. We'll see. I may have found a way to access some more audiobooks that have been region locked in some apps for me, and maybe I found a way to actually get those to me and read them. And that would be really neat, because those are sometimes books that I feel I should actually talk about. And we'll see how that goes. But, the future looks bright. I will have to go back to Martin the Warrior and recording a video on that very soon while the other one is rendering. And this is like mass production of videos. I'm on the grind right now. I feel like Johan from Library of a Viking will be super fucking proud of my grind right now. It's like I'm recording 2 videos per day, maybe recording 3 videos per day, doing nothing but reading books and going back and recording and stepping back and listening to the next book while the first one is rendering and recording the next one. This is what I'm doing right now. And yeah, each of those videos gets like 40 views, which is nice. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so keep watching those Redwall videos, and I don't know, keep reading Redwall books or listen to the audiobooks. They're really fun. I will talk to you, well, in an hour or two about Martin the Warrior and about other stuff later. Beyond that, I hope you had like a halfway decent holiday season so far. You survived whatever family meetings you had to go to, whatever social occasions you had to bear with. I hope all of that worked well. If you had, Christmas, then, I hope you had a good Christmas. If you're celebrating Hanukkah, then I hope you had a really cool Hanukkah. If you're celebrating Kwanzaa, that too. If you had, celebrated Sol Invictus, I hope you slaughtered a bull for Mithras or something. I hope you had a good time, and I wish you a really cool week. I'll talk to you a lot. Until then, I don't know. Thanks, and, well, cheers and all of that, right? Cheers.